Good morning.
Good morning, Deborah, LeeAnn.
So, Suzanne Joy, I am loving this gene key, which is appropriate since it is devotion. But I have been contemplating it from so many different directions because they also just released the Ring of Union, of which the Codon Ring, so of which this is a part, and the previous gene key 4, Forgiveness, and Devotion. And the next two that we're going to be talking about in the next 2 weeks, they're all part of the Ring of Union. So I'm glad I'm starting to dig into that interconnected family. Um, would you like to kick us off, Miss Suzanne Joy?
Sure. We are talking about Gene Key Energy of the Week, Gene Key 29. And this key, when we're in our humanness, it's all about half-heartedness. And that's it can be seen as overcommitting to things or completely opposite where you're unreliable and you can't function, right? Then out of half-heartedness is the gift of commitment. And then the acidic state is devotion, or the highest essence or of consciousness is pure devotion.
And it's what I love about this is you can see it's almost like building blocks to me. You know, the half-heartedness, and then you get to the commitment where you're putting in 100%, right? And then devotion is where you melt into the all, and you can't get there without the half-heartedness as a way of it's kind of like one of those bumpers that reminds you that you're getting out of line here or getting out of alignment, shall we say. Um, the half-heartedness for me has really been showing up in um, this questioning of, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? I mean, who we are is so different than who I was last week or last year. And so, why do I think that I know where I'm supposed to be going? And then I have a judgment that I should be doing things to get to wherever I'm going. And I'm like, I don't know where that is. So, what I really love is the commitment to this moment, the devotion to who I am in this moment, the devotion to the way things are in this moment, and then following that. What's the physicality that's attached to this?
It's the sacral.
Oh, of course. And for those of us that are sacral uh, guided in our human designs, I mean, it's like, oh, this is what I want to do now. So I'm laughing because I'm looking around and my office, which has been in a state of flux for 3 years, but mostly in the last year, and my whole house, my bedroom, the bathrooms, the living room. I've been taking everything out of all the cabinets and organizing. And it's like it's a complete disaster for those of you that come in and go, "Why do you have like 15 candle holders over here?" Because I'm trying to figure out which ones I want to keep and which one. So anyway, I'm in this. To me, it's devotion to my sacred space, inner and outer, but it doesn't look like the way my linear mind wants it to look like. So I'm like, you should get that done. And I'm like, it's not what I want to work on today. I'm not working on the candles. I think I'm working on the oils. You know what I mean? It's like, so I just go where. So anyway, I'm laughing. Oh, and the kitchen, but that's a whole work in process. And that one I'm only doing one cabinet at a time for sanity's sake. So I'm laughing because this half-heartedness is so prevalent in the world. They talk about the Gallup surveys that do the engagement of employee engagement at work, and employee satisfaction at work. I mean, that's way down because people are in these things, they don't want to be there, or. So I'm like, then we wonder why our world is running at a less than devotional space. Anyway, that's my rant. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's not optimal, that's for sure. It's interesting because I definitely, this is one of my keys that I dance in, as my radiance. And so it's one of my core four. And I think back to all the times that I've been devoted in my life, and it always usually is a bigger thing than my life, like
mm,
back to my devotional lives with environmental education and, science and, you know, planetary shifts, and my devotion to God and my path. And I find it interesting because it does typically happen in 7-year cycles. And so, when we talk about devotion and you commit to something, it's not, one little one and done kind of thing. This is something it takes a chunk of your space. And so getting really clear about what you value and what means something to you, um, is is probably the most important thing that you could possibly do. And if it's not lighting up inside, then is it worth even doing it? Like, are we doing it for other people? Are,
right.
like,
And
so
he talked about that, about how we get into a committed relationship or a commitment to a job, and how, eh, like we're there partway, and you can't be 90% committed.
no,
He said that that's the same as being 1% committed.
right,
You might as well just go 100% be in or out.
right,
And so to me, that is a new awareness of being okay with being committed in this moment
right.
to this action,
I know it could be anything,
which is weird.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
cooking, cleaning, like your energy is right all there. It's
Listening to the birds this morning, and and I'm like, okay, so if I'm playing a game on the computer, can I be 100% in the space of, because I know that I am not good at Wordle if if my mind is, oh, I should be blah, 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 then I don't, I'm not as clear. Whereas today I got it in three because I was like, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to spend 5 minutes and just be in this space. It's a huge difference.
so how is that different than presence?
Um, I think they're so similar, but to me, the nuance of the difference is I'm in love with this moment. I'm in love with being in this space, feeling this energy of life coursing through my body, tuning in to feeling the energy between you and I in this moment, right? I mean, you can feel it in presence, but when you're in love with it, it lights you up even more. So there's a little bit of, I think that's the difference, but that's my take. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, and I love the fact that this is called leaping into the void. So, you know, when you think about the I Ching or I Ching and it was the abyss,
Yes.
most people, freak out with the unknown. But what if we just commit moment by moment, tuning into our sacral yes, and moving? I call it, I guess that's part of our GPS. Um, moving through life with that way, I mean, when I follow that, I usually end up in serendipitous events because I am moving where I'm being called to go and magic happens. So if we follow that sacral yes, that pull, not that obviously this is not happening with our thinking minds, people.
Yeah.
When we
Yeah.
try to figure it out, it doesn't work. But when our bodies talk, and it's you can hear it in your voice when something lights you up. You're like, you actually make a sound.
Hmm.
So those are the things that,
We also do, eh. Like we also make that, which is a really good indicator. Not now.
no.
Um, and there is that language of it's an ancient like and I don't remember which indigenous group. I think it's Aboriginal, but they have the now and not now. Those are their two times.
Yeah.
You're either gonna, is it time to eat? Not now. So when might that be? No, because they're not in that time and space, locked in things, scheduling like we are. So where that also brings me to in the Richard Rudd's audio transmission of the Gene Key 29. He closes with a quote or a passage or a poem from Hafiz, which he said typically when he reads it, he says, I hope I can get through it, makes him cry. And it is about tuning in, being so aware that you can feel the other in pain and you want to alleviate that pain. And the person that's in pain that's being brought to this master to be healed and freed because he was a slave that had escaped, he's afraid, thinking, where are you taking me? Why am I, and I mean, it's like, how can you he had been praying to be saved. And then somebody comes to save him and he's like, oh, this is wrong. It's so funny. I mean, there's so many layers to that. And I was playing with it this morning of how often do I ask for something? It shows up. It's not the package I think it's supposed to be. And so I'm like, and I push it away. And here it's like knocking on the door going, no, I'm here. I'm what you asked for. And I'm like, ah. And I had a dream very similar to that this morning. I woke up and actually sat down and recorded it because it was so many layers of that. And it ended up all being about, was that person me and that person me and this person me? And then we were all one. It was weird. So I want to play with the mudra with you all and then see how you want to close. Or we need to talk a little bit more about devotion, I suppose, because we've been in the space of commitment. So interestingly, and you'll recognize this, it's you put your knuckles together and you can put it upside down over your belly, but ideally your thumbs would be right in your sternum. And you just hold that over and just breathe. And can we be devoted to this moment? Because it's really all we have.
Yeah. And this is surrendering right into the heart. That's what the devotion is.
Yeah.
It is the embodiment of love.
Yeah. I love this. So I hope in the next couple weeks as we complete this codon ring and we see what how forgiveness and devotion and the next two citic states all are parts of that union of love. They're all different facets. And I love how those codon rings have come to be. I mean, the mysticism beyond it it's beyond me. But so thoughts, how do you want to close?
It's all about saying yes to life.
Yeah. And when in doubt, drop in. Take good care.